This is a 300 Blackout. Yeah, I think it's a 153 grain bullet, cast bullet, of course. Subsonic. Nice NOE mold. I did some testing to see which of my subsonic ones give me the most accuracy. First I shot a target with 7 rounds. That's 230 grain. Here's 153 grain, I think. So I got a chance. I won't hit them all, but I'll take a whack at it. Let's see how I did. I missed that one and I missed that one. So I got 5 out of 7. I got the rest of them. Well, even that subsonic 300 Blackout went right through it. 153 grain bullet. Here's one of the shiny ones. I had fancy pennies with the 308. Funny because it's the same caliber bullet, still, you know, 30 caliber. It's going a little faster. I didn't know if the lead would go through it or not. Did. I know the last video I did, my pants were hanging out. I'm sorry. I don't want to buy new pants. You know why? Because it'll jinx me and I'll gain the weight back. And I don't want to gain the weight back. I mean, I didn't lose everything I wanted. I got down to 250. But I mean, it's a long ways away from 420, let me tell you. I'm going to have to go up and not nail those because that's just the way I am. I can't help myself. I got those two with 2 more shots. So it took me 9 rounds to get all 7 of them. For me, that ain't bad at all. Here's the gun I was using for this 7-cent challenge right there. Oh, I gotta zoom back. I have it zoomed in for the target. A Ruger American 300 Blackout with my Griffin suppressor. So nice. You can sit there and listen to music while you're shooting. Now that is a new 300 Blackout. If you guys seen my other videos, I had one Well, the original Ruger, and it was a good, it was a good shooter, it really was. But it had the original mag, and God, that thing was a pain in the butt. I mean, just, you could reliably load 3 rounds into it, into a 5-round mag. Ruger replaced the mags, everything. And we twisted the spring, we played with it. I got it to work with 4 most of the time. It would jam up every time if you loaded 5. And I contacted Ruger and said, hey, is there any way if I buy a new stock, can this be modified so I can go to this type of mag? No. Okay. So, I mean, I couldn't complain. The rifles are pretty cheap, like $4 1/4 or something, shipped. So I bought me another rifle, and I made sure it shot good before I got rid of the other one. I normally don't sell things, but my son-in-law, he doesn't like 300 Black. He's just never seen any purpose for it. You know, 223 is a bill. Fine, whatever. I like 300 Blackout. God, you can shoot those 300 Blackouts I'm shooting. I think when I load them up, I figured they cost me $0.10 a piece. You can shoot all day for not a lot of money, you know. Oh, he wanted to load, didn't he? Well, there's the load. I'm not telling anybody to use it, but that's my load. That's the NOE mold number and everything. That's what I put on my stuff so I don't forget. I got a load of those almost three years ago. Now, I shot the 230s too, which I load those up for the AR. Yeah, I could have did it with the AR, but I'd rather shoot a bolt gun suppress. The AR, you got to eat gas. So you can tell I don't shoot as many of those. I load them up full each time. They don't really look a hell of a lot different. I can tell by the different contour on the bullet. This one's a pointier bullet. The 153 grain, I think it is. I think it's 153 grain. Yeah, 153 grain. And that's one of the first smooth bullets I ever got. There's no grease, so it drops out of that mold so easy. 230 grain. What's Elvis Ammo call those missiles? But for me, you know, again, I worked up the load for those in the AR, okay? Hence AR. And these are for the bolt gun, so maybe that's just why they weren't as accurate. I mean, maybe if I had the AR out here, but I couldn't remember where exactly the point of impact was, so I had to shoot some to get an idea. There's the 230s. And there's the 150. That's, I said 150, I couldn't remember, 153. Oh, here's that steel I'm telling you. Look how thick that is. My finger. There's a new little friend too I might go for. I thought about putting him in the middle so he'd take the hit, because that one's cheaper to replace. But then if I missed, then it could have lead coming back. I mean, I should just not be cheap. It's hard, because my instinct is to go cheap, but over the years I've tried to learn being cheap is not great. It's like when I bought those Loophole, I think they're scopes. They're so clear to my eyes. I mean, that's a nice scope, but it ain't as clear as that Loophole. But I mean, I paid a lot for those years ago. For one of the first scopes I ever bought. 300 Blackout was the first thing I got serious with shooting, as far as in a rifle. I love that Ruger American rifle, I really do. It's not a fancy rifle, but it doesn't have to be. It's accurate as hell. I didn't even use a bag. Okay, with that gun, it's so light you don't need it. There's no recoil, so it's not like you need it. You know. The crazy part is, even, okay, look at this. See how this is hanging out like that? See how it's not supposed to be. Even with a light recoil on that, it still moves this cover forward when I'm using the suppressor. And you gotta spin it around, bring it back up here like that. It doesn't bother the accuracy or not. But there's like no recoil. The gun still jerks enough to do it. Take the old suppressor off here. Yep. I was running a suppressor on that 308 for a while. This will handle it. But Well, not on the M1As, on the AR-10 my kids bought me for Father's Day. But it just screwed up the brass. I mean, and it even has a switch on it for to adjust the to use a suppressor for the gas. But it would mangle the brass. And if you shoot it without it, brass is fine. So I shoot it without it. What the hell? I was looking at it, I could shoot subs in it. I tried some. I even bought some. God, those are expensive. And it didn't cycle still, so it was just a single shot. If I want to shoot subs, I might as well shoot the 300 Blackout. I built this so I wouldn't lose brass all the time. It wouldn't go into the garden and all there. It bounced this way. Look at what the brass does hitting the wood. It's not deep, but it mars it every time. You wouldn't think it'd come out of there that fast, but it does. One guy said, I seen somewhere they said you put a towel over your action while you're shooting. But it kind of just, I don't know, freaked me out. And it didn't work that well. It still bounced brass all over the place. So I was like, yeah, I just didn't want to do that. With this, I don't hardly ever, because I bought all brand new brass for the 308 after my issue. I'm using Starline brass. I only load it 10 times and I dispose of it. And I actually did a test where I would shoot I loaded up, I think it was like 20 I started with, and I'd shoot them twice and I'd cut one open and making sure I wasn't having any problems with case separation. Because everybody I talked to, nobody could tell me how many times to load brass. Well, and I don't buy used brass, because I think that brass I bought some used from a guy on some of the forums. Not on the Reloaders Network, locally here. The guy goes, I think these are ones fired. I should have known when he kept saying, I think. Well, I ain't smart enough to be able to tell. And one of them separated on me. That and I overcharged, or screwed it up. Anyways, there it is. So that's a little better than the 308. Probably because of less recoil, I don't know. Maybe this gun's more accurate. Well, I just screwed around with the load in the 308 too, so who knows. Still got 8 rounds to shoot, and then I can clean that brass and run it through again, load some more up. Does anybody know about those fancy scales? I've been looking at some of these scales, weighing scales that go down to 2 digits in the decimals. Boy, oh boy, are they pricey. They're like $750. Is that worth it to anybody? I mean, I see a few of my guys' videos. It's like, I guess that's not more than a handgun, but it's like, wow, it's a lot of money. God, I wish I could just borrow one to see how close my other scale is, but I don't think people loan them. I don't think you can run down to the library. Hey, maybe I could run down to my local drug dealer. Hey, can I borrow your scale for a little bit? I don't know. Something I'll think about. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.